Hello everybody, it's me, dhortplays. Today we will be reading through the bestiary of all of the enemies found in the original 1996 release of Resident Evil. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Starting off, we have the zombie. The zombie is the most common enemy in the game. Poor residents of the mansion who became infected with the T-virus and left to rot in the dusty hallways. From the many different diaries and journals found, it is clear that they suffer greatly before the virus takes their life, and finally, their soul. There are 3 different types of zombie in the game. You start off by encountering the 2 green jacket and white jacket types in the mansion, and eventually the naked variety later on in the game. The zombie is an easy enemy as long as they're in small numbers. The Beretta is enough to keep them at bay. It's possible to decapitate one or many zombies with a single shotgun blast. Simply aim up when they come into grabbing range and fire. Next is the Cerberus. The Cerberus is essentially a Doberman infected with the virus. It is a fairly common enemy in the game. Despite the rotting skin and muscle hanging off their bones, they're still surprisingly quick, the virus giving these creatures an insane lust for blood. They'll dive for your arm the first chance they get. Although quick, they are easy to keep at bay with the Beretta. The worst problem with these is if you manage to get between 2 or 3 of them. Then you have no choice but to run to a better position. A good method is to shoot to put it on the floor. Wait until you see it stand up or hear it growl if it's off screen. Then shoot it again. Repeat this and it will never get a chance to come near you before it's dead. The Crow. Larger and more aggressive than normal, these birds will sit patiently unless they consider you a threat. It seems these crows feasted on a corpse infected with the virus and driven them to act like something out of an Alfred Hitchcock novel. These crows are not a common enemy. There's only 2 instances of where you'll encounter them. It's much safer to let them be and to engage with them. Otherwise, it's just a waste of ammunition. The Monster Plant. Although immobile and not much of a threat, you will at some point have to dispose of this overgrown fountainweed. When you approach, it will lash out with its whipping vines, causing minor damage. However, there is actually no need to get this close, as by using the herbicide on the nearby water pump, this will kill the plant and allow you to get past safely. Forest Spear. Forest Spear, once a proud member of Bravo Team, now one of the living dead. In the arranged advanced mode of the director's cut of the game, another surprise is added. Your fellow team member from the Bravos springs to life when you attempt to take the item that is next to him and will attack you. In terms of his behavior, he is no different from a regular zombie, except he is slightly faster and takes more ammunition to kill, probably due to the protective armor he is wearing. Yawn. A snake of gigantic proportions. This terrible demon is one of the first boss fights you encounter in the game, and it takes a large amount of ammunition to scare it away. You have to be careful though, as not only does the snake cause massive amounts of damage, its fangs are dripping with a poison that cannot be cured with an ordinary blue herb. If you do get poisoned, you need special syrup to remedy it. On the second encounter, however, it has somehow lost its ability to poison you, so you just need to focus on keeping your health up and unloading everything you have into it until it dissolves into a puddle of purple goo. Adder. Small in comparison to the one you encounter earlier on, these pests are venomous and can hinder your progress when the need for a blue herb arises. Although small, these should be avoided, since you only encounter them a few times during the game. You shouldn't bother wasting any ammunition on these. Instead, just run past them and hope that one doesn't bite you. The wasp. An ordinary wasp that has been infected with the T-virus and subsequently grown to roughly 4 times its original size. These insects are now more deadly than ever, being able to deliver a much more potent poison with its stinger. If you ever find yourself in a swarm, don't waste any ammunition on them. Just run like hell. Neptune. Neptune is the code name for an experiment involving administering the T-virus to an ordinary great white shark. The result is a much larger, much more ferocious predator. Playing as either character, it is much easier and safer to simply avoid these sharks. Instead, simply run to the control room and activate the draining mechanism. This will render these sharks helpless, and you can choose to either leave them or put them out of their misery as they lay flapping around on the floor. Plant 42. This monstrous bulb is the product of the researchers in the guardhouse residence experimenting with the T-virus on plants, the result of which is a carnivorous plant that feeds on the blood of its victims. It is said that this plant grew this large by feeding off the contaminated water from the broken water tank in the basement. These exposed roots also hold the key to defeating it, as by concocting the V-Jolt compound, you are able to administer this to the plant via its roots, severely weakening it and making the battle against it a little easier. If you're playing as Jill, then the bazooka with the flame rounds are the preferred choice of weapon. If you're playing as Chris, you only have the shotgun, but if you use the V-Jolt, then it will be enough to defeat it. The Hunter. An extremely powerful creature with claws on all 4 limbs and the ability to jump several meters in the air. Encountered later on in the game, these creatures replace the zombie as being the most common enemy, but thankfully for a limited time only. These frog-like creatures are very dangerous. They have 2 different forms of attack. They either swipe at your legs or jump and slash at your torso, which, if they're close enough, could go right over your head and result in a decapitation. Using the shotgun, Colt Python when playing as Chris, or the bazooka with acid rounds as Jill, is the best way to deal with these. Web Spinner. An enormous spider created by experimenting with the T-virus on arachnids. These venomous, 8-legged monsters can surprise you when they suddenly land in front of you with their ability to walk on walls and ceilings. But their presence within a room can be known to you if you listen out for their low bass thumping noise as they scurry around. Using the shotgun or the bazooka are good choices when it comes to disposing of these. Be careful though, as once they're dead, there's a chance their bodies will erupt into a collection of small spiders. The small spider. A baby spider that has recently emerged from its parent's egg sac. Although they don't deal huge amounts of damage, they do temporarily stun you when they jump and attack you, making them more of a nuisance than a threat. Don't waste any ammunition on them. Simply run or walk over them, and they will get crushed with a satisfying splat noise. Black tiger, the mother of all spiders. This is a larger variation of the web spinner. This giant spider has more strength, speed, and spitting range than its smaller companions. Although big and menacing, this boss can be defeated quite easily. For Jill, using the bazooka loaded with acid rounds or flame rounds will bring it down quickly. For Chris, the use of the shotgun or Colt Python is recommended. It will only take a few shots to bring down. The Chimera. The term chimera is used when an organism consists of two or more different genetic tissues. This creature is the combination of human DNA and that of a fly, resulting in its grotesque appearance. It may lack intelligence, but they are extremely deadly. These creatures like to hang around in small dark places such as air ducts. The Colt Python is effective against these, but so is the bazooka with flame rounds. The world's most powerful biological weapon, the Tyrant. The Tyrant has the build of a large man, with a cluster of claws on its left forearm instead of a hand. Its heart is located outside its body on its chest. However, this doesn't make it vulnerable for attack or weakness. Dealing with the Tyrant the first time around is fairly easy. All he will do is follow you around the laboratory in a casual manner. Use the Colt Python or the bazooka for this battle. If you get within a certain distance, he will start swiping his claw at you, which can hurt a lot. The second battle takes place on the heliport, and there's no need to fire at him. Keep avoiding him until the countdown timer reaches a dangerously low level, and Brad will drop something to help you defeat the Tyrant. Thank you guys so very much for listening to this video. All enemies from the 1996 Resident Evil. If you'd like to see more Resident Evil, there are VODs here on this channel, or you can check my Twitch out live at 10:30 p.m. Mountain Time, Monday through Friday. Thank you guys so very much. Have fun, be safe, take care, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.